These days, we literally live on the cyberspace. What that means is that it has to be a space that is regulated, else, we are in danger. Even when regulation is introduced, so many people are falling victim to all sorts of scams in the cyber world. This afternoon, we will help you here on the law, which is your legal light and your help law, on how to watch out and what exactly is the authority doing to see to your interests. I'm Samson Ladianyanini. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. This is the law. It's your legal lights. It's your health law. Starting October 1, certain things will happen within the cyber space. If you are a cyber security service provider, cyber security establishment, cyber security professional, you must keep your dials here. And we must also pay attention so we know how we are affected or what happens after the 1st of October. Discussing regulating cybersecurity. Cybersecurity Authority cracks the whip for safety. Joining me in the studio are Jennifer Mensah, who is lead legal and compliance of the authority, and Benjamin Ofori, who is also an officer in the authority. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the law.
Good afternoon.
Great. So, even before we get into what I clearly have put people on some tenterhooks about, and they're wondering, what is it, 1st October, what's going to happen? Let's begin to appreciate when we say the cyberspace and the question of regulating it, literally, what are we dealing with? What are we talking about?
So basically, when we talk about the cybersecurity space, we live today in a digital age, which is characterized by the usage of computer system, electronic devices. We use the internet. There are billions and billions of devices connected to the internet.
Right.
And basically, even if you think about Ghana's socioeconomic development, is underpinned by digital technologies. And that basically forms the cyberspace. And this digital age brings a lot of opportunities to mankind in terms of there is improvement in our social life. People are able to connect with each other, communicate with each other across borders, using their mobile phones and electronic devices.
That's right.
It has brought a lot of, generated a lot of wealth for the world's economy and Ghana as well. And given another platform for people to actually enjoy their human rights, rights to information, freedom of expression, and so forth and so on. But like every new innovation, every new innovation we know comes with its own kinds of risk.
That's right.
And the cyberspace also comes with its own, kinds of risk, cyber threats, because there are malicious people out there who would want to, take advantage of this new technology that we are enjoying. And so, although we have the opportunities, cybercrime is also on the rise.
That's right.
And it's very important that the space and the technology is secured for us to harness the benefits that it brings. And that is where the Cybersecurity Authority comes in here to, regulate the cybersecurity space, prevent and manage and respond to cybersecurity incidents and cybersecurity threats so that businesses, children, public institutions, Ghana can enjoy the benefits that the digital age brings.
Thank you very much, and that's elaborate. And if you have followed us here on The Law, we have taken you through the various threats on the cyberspace and what to look for, particularly the scams and the fraud that goes on there. These days, people are able to clone all sorts of things. You are buying and you're using just your mobile phone. You're doing a lot of things just on your mobile phone or your tablet. You want to make sure it's secured. So when we say cybersecurity, Ben, what exactly are we talking about and why should I be concerned?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Samson, for first of all having us in your studios today. We're excited to be here. When we say cybersecurity, it sounds a big technical term.
You're right.
But to demystify the term, I would say it's just being aware of how your phone is protected or how you as an individual should be very careful in using digital devices.
Right.
Because, and to maybe dovetail a little bit into Jennifer's answer, the cyberspace starts from your phone. It starts from the tablet you use in the house. It starts from the baby monitor that you can connect to the internet. It starts from, nowadays, your TV and fridges that, has the internet connections.
That's right.
And everything in between, all the way to the telco tower. So the security that revolves around these devices, technology, and the waves and all of that is what we're talking about here.
Right.
But that requires that our government is keeping a keen eye on this by regulating the space, and that's where the Cybersecurity Authority comes in.
Right. And we had the boss of the Cybersecurity Authority on the show, particularly right after the law that establishes the Cybersecurity Authority and that seeks to provide a lot of protection for all of us was passed into law. We had him here and we discussed quite a bit in respect of the Cybersecurity Act 2020. But what would you tell our audience is your mandate as a cybersecurity authority? What's your mandate? What do you do? And once again, how does that concern me?
Right.
So basically, as rightfully said, we passed the law in 2020,
right.
An act of parliament, the Cybersecurity Act, which establishes the Cybersecurity Authority
right.
and confers on the authority the mandates to regulate cybersecurity activities and to promote the development of cybersecurity in this country. Now, if you move into Section 3 of the Act, it throws more light on what exactly this means by spelling out what the cybersecurity needs to do in order to regulate cybersecurity activities. One of the things the Cybersecurity Authority needs to do is to prevent, manage, and respond to cybersecurity incidents and cybersecurity threats. As explained earlier, we live in the digital age, and to harness the benefits, we have to secure Ghana's digital transformation and make the digital economy much more resilient. And the cybersecurity, steps in here so that it comes up with measures to prevent cybersecurity incidents from occurring. And if those cybersecurity incidents should even occur, the Cybersecurity Authority coordinates response to those cybersecurity incidents, working with various, stakeholders.
There have been many times we have seen circulars released from the Cybersecurity Authority. You can call them alerts, and that seeks to educate us about, some scam, some security threat that we all have to pay attention to, what we should not give into. If people send us certain emails or they send us certain WhatsApp messages. You actually issued one very recently, right?
There are many we issue, so maybe specifically which one, yeah.
So I was just going to get to this particular one. I'll bring it up and then we'll look at it. But what is this that is going to happen from the 1st of October that we should all be concerned about? Beginning with you, Jennifer.
Yes. So as part of the mandate of the Cybersecurity Authority, the Cybersecurity Authority is responsible for regulating cybersecurity service providers and cybersecurity professionals. And if you look into the Act again, the functions of the authority, the Cybersecurity Authority is responsible for issuing out licenses for the provision of cybersecurity services, developing standards for the provision of cybersecurity services, and developing and maintaining a national register of licensed and accredited persons who perform cybersecurity activities. And therefore, in line with its mandates, the Cybersecurity Authority commends the licensing and accreditation regime on the 1st of March and calling for persons who are providing cybersecurity services to obtain a license from the Cybersecurity Authority, because Section 49 mandates any person who is providing cybersecurity services to obtain a license from the Cybersecurity Authority. And therefore, we had to give some, grace period from the 1st of March till 30th of September, calling all cybersecurity service providers to come and regularize their operations. They need to come and obtain their license so that they are in compliance with the law. And so the grace period is, ends on the 30th of September. So from the 1st of October, your question is what was going to happen.
Right.
From the 1st of October, we'll start enforcing the law. Section 49.2 says if you do not have a license and you are providing cybersecurity services, you are liable to pay administrative penalties to the authority. And so from 1st of October, we shall be, from the 1st of October, we shall be imposing those administrative penalties on persons who are in violation of the law.
Has the accreditation of cybersecurity professionals, establishments, and so on, has it begun?
Yes.
So how do I know it has begun and I have to make sure I'm compliant? How do I know?
Right. So if I may come in, maybe from the first question you asked, besides the mandate that Madam Jennifer talked about, this cybersecurity thing we're talking about, by its nature, is very intrusive. Intrusive in the sense that if you ask a service provider to come into your environment, say you're a company, for them to come in and offer you services, because of the work that's happening, they have access to very sensitive information.
Right.
And then if you ask, besides the organization, just a regular professional, when they come in, they have access, again, to sensitive information. Personal data is revealed to these people by the way they act. So the authority, by its establishment, is mandated by the sections you talked about, 4K, 57, and 59 maybe, to make sure that these service providers are licensed so that the people they're even bringing in to do the service, they're competent people. They have a certain solid credibility by some background check that we help do in the registry or the database you just mentioned. So, I mean, just to buttress that point there.
Also, to add on to what Seben said, there are actually, businesses and some public institutions who may not have the capability of determining who is a competent cybersecurity professional, who is a credible cybersecurity service provider. So that if the Cybersecurity Authority is able to produce that national register, those businesses, small, medium,
you can easily check.
They can just go on our website and they know who is credible, who is competent, who can I trust with my environment.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. Great. It's perhaps like the job of a lawyer. If I don't have a license, I don't have the opportunity to practice.
Right.
And if you don't have a license, you're a quack. It's easy to find you out.
Correct.
Right. So I'm coming back to you on the I have asked this, but we can look at it from a different perspective. What the state of the country's cybersecurity space without these regulations will be. But let's first begin to establish who are these stakeholders that you're seeking to regulate, as in accredit. When we say cybersecurity professional, cybersecurity establishment, who are we talking about? But before we get to that, I was saying earlier, one of the alerts you issued, which was on August 22nd, 22nd of August 2023. It came public alert from the Cybersecurity Authority, and it said malicious data harvesting links impersonating National Identification Authority. And this was useful to all of us, particularly people who needed their to do their registration for their Ghana card and so on and so forth. So sometimes this is what you do to put us on the alert. And you told us that be cautious of links that are unsolicited, even if they appear to come from someone you know. Verify with the sender before clicking on any link. Sometimes we easily fall for this. We don't verify. We just see it. There's a link that's popped up. Then we just click. And thankfully, you gave us a number of links that we need, that were circulating, that we had to be careful about. They were circulating on WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, Telegram, among others. You said avoid clicking on links in suspicious or unexpected messages and emails. I'll tell you what. So this actually got me to be a lot more alert. Around the time I was getting some messages. And when I read this, it got me to relax when I see any such thing and not to be in a hurry to check what it was. So back to my issue. Who is a professional? Who is the establishment, the stakeholders that you are seeking to regulate for our safety? Who are they?
So basically, a cybersecurity service provider is a person licensed under the Act 1038 to provide cybersecurity services. And the Act defines a cybersecurity service to be a service provided for a reward, primarily aimed at securing the cybersecurity of a computer system or computer network. So what this means is that any person who is providing some kind of service that seeks to protect computer systems, computer network, and is doing that on a commercial basis, taking reward, that is a cybersecurity service provider within the meaning of the law. If you check Section 97, the interpretation section, it explains it. And basically, a cybersecurity establishment is a facility within an organization that is primarily responsible for conducting cybercrime investigations and responding to cybersecurity incidents. So when you go to some organizations, you find that they have things called like Security Operations Center, Digital Forensic Laboratory. And these facilities are responsible for maybe scanning the network, finding out are there any weaknesses that we need to put remediation measures in place to secure our environment. That is the cybersecurity establishment. And those facilities are very, very important when it comes to securing Ghana's digital infrastructure. And 59 of the Act indicates that such, facilities must have in place technology and processes in line with international best practice. And the authority must develop standards and ensure that such facilities are compliant with those standards. Now, with the professionals, the law defines them to be persons accredited under the Act to provide cybersecurity professional functions. So if you are performing cybersecurity professional functions and you are accredited under the Act, you are a cybersecurity professional.
Ben, what do you like to add to that?
Yes.
How do I cybersecurity professional. Who is he? Who is he? I'm looking for who is she? So that not long ago,
right,
we had a cybersecurity expert,
right,
so to speak, on the show, educating our audiences on how to avoid fraud.
right.
So I would know that this person is accredited.
Yeah. So it could be as basic as a trainer, somebody who's giving awareness, right? Because most of the time these guys are well knowledgeable in technicalities. So that person should be able to even educate in simple terms the market person using their phone for Momo transaction.
All right.
Right? And coming back to the link you're talking about, if you're using your phones to do transaction online and you have to say you're asked, to use your national ID
right,
for certain sections, say you're at DVLA even, to do something like that. That link, you can fall for that link. But that trainer who's giving you that basic information should be able to tell you, these links are not right.
Great.
They're bad links. That's what some of the works that the Cybersecurity Authority does, where our computer emergency response teams scan the whole echo space and release alerts like that when it comes to situations. And then you can have as high as the professional who is hired to come in by a licensed company, a professional who's accredited, right, in this case, to come in and do compliance work for, say, a telco company or, say, a bank. Because to take it from a different angle, who some of the stakeholders we are engaging or these licensing companies or accredited professionals are working for, Ghana went ahead and designated almost 200 institutions or owners who are known as the critical information infrastructure owners by Section 35 of the Act, right? And these owners cut across 13 sectors of our economy. So to have somebody who is a professional to come in to do such work, they need to be accredited.
That's right.
And these are some of the professionals we're talking about, people who do penetration testing. I'm trying to find the lowest of the terms so people can understand this.
Right.
But somebody who is coming to do just regular compliance checks to make sure some controls that you have to put in place as an organization who provide critical services to the market seller, those controls are well implemented.
Right.
So it varies, but it could be as low as a trainer to as high as somebody who does compliance checks in say, a telco company.
If you are just joining us, this is The Law. It's your legal light. It's your help law, and we are looking at regulating cybersecurity, the Cybersecurity Authority cracking the whip for safety. And we have here in the studio Jennifer Mensah and Benjamin Ofori, all from the Cybersecurity Authority, helping us to appreciate what is going on and for you not to be left behind. So I was in a hurry when I mentioned 1st of October.
Right.
So as we speak, are we in that grace period for the service providers and establishment and professionals to align with the regulations? Is that where we are?
Yes.
Okay.
We're still in the grace period.
And within this period, how are you making sure that somebody doesn't, become a victim because they were not informed or something of the sort?
Right. So one of the ways we're doing this is by public awareness. And the alerts we release is one of those public awareness we do.
Right.
We do a lot of public engagements, capacity building, awareness creation. They come on radios. There are 3 programs that some of our officers attend to try to explain to the ordinary man on the street. But March to September ending, there's been a lot of activities going on. We started with registration of these companies and these individuals or professionals alike. I think the key activity is for if you identify yourself as a professional, is just start a registration. This is a dynamic industry. and the authority is known to collaborate a lot. So once they even set a timeline, although it's etched, maybe not etched in stone, but it's there, we expect that people comply, and then afterwards we'll know what to do. But we need to start building the ecospace securely and resiliently. Of
course, the fear that from the 1st of October you have no option but to find yourself in difficulty means that people will want to comply. But I'm concerned about the reach. You know, it is said that ignorance of the law is no excuse. But once you are implementing something like this, there ought to be a situation where somebody doesn't get to suffer because you didn't make them aware. What is the registration process like? How easy is it?
It's quite easy.
Yeah, so if one of the ways we're doing this is by publishing everything on our website. If you go to csa.gov.gh, the information is all broken down for you, from the requirements gathering to you registering, and then we have our offices online that you can reach by phone, by email, and they will consistently attend to you. But I think where there's been some laudable efforts by the authority is where we do a lot of public engagements. You know, we're part of the security architecture of the country.
That's right.
So sometimes our work...
Because the security has actually moved from ground to cyberspace.
Yes.
Yeah, so you guys have a lot of work to do.
Yes, we do. We recognize that. But we are not noisy, right? But we do those capacity building engagements with like the face-to-face approach. There's been a lot of companies we've been speaking to, especially these CI owners I was telling you about. We go to their offices, we do online engagements, just because they are the ones who need the professionals the most.
Right.
Because to break it in simpler terms, somebody who needs to do that pen testing, that intrusive work for a telco is needed there to check to make sure that that control is indeed put in place, so that the person at the bottom, say that cocoa seller using the Momo to do transaction, is protected. So there's a trickling down effect when it comes to the benefit. And that's why we focus right at the top all the way to the bottom.
So you say it's easy. One can simply check on csa.gov.gh and they'll see the portfolio, what is required to go through the registration process.
Right.
Yes, Jennifer wanted to say something.
And, to add to what Sir Benjamin said, actually in our media and stakeholder engagement, we take the stakeholders through the requirements. We have guidelines for licensed and cybersecurity service providers, accrediting cybersecurity establishments, and accrediting cybersecurity professionals. So we've engaged even cybersecurity professional bodies, cybersecurity service providers, industry regulators, and we sit down and walk them through the requirements in the guidelines, and they have the opportunity to also ask questions. Now, even prior to the 1st of March, building this, license and accreditation regime, we have involved industry players. At the onset, we actually established a committee that had representation from cybersecurity service providers, cybersecurity professional bodies, academia, who contributed to what is really should be the requirements that prospective cybersecurity service providers, professionals, and establishments need to satisfy in order to obtain a license or accreditation. When we got the first draft, we held a public consultation that had a cross-section of industry players, academia, law firms, businesses, public institutions. We had over 90 people in attendance, and that was actually also broadcasted on various media channels, where we sought inputs into the guidelines. And from the 1st of March, as we started rolling out, we've had these media and stakeholder engagements explaining the requirements to the stakeholders.
Thank you very much. If you're still here with us, we are engaging the officers from the Cybersecurity Authority, helping us to appreciate the regime of, if you call it licensing, accreditation of professionals, establishments, and there's the one other, you see?
Service providers?
Service providers, right, and professionals, so that you are sure you are setting that those who are attending to your cybersecurity needs have the requisite accreditation to do so. And we will be opening the phone lines as we always do, because this show is about and for you. This is the law. It's your legal light. It's your help law. So from the 1st of October, if someone is seen to be not compliant, they come under sanctions. You refer to the specific provisions. Is there a potential of some, pardoning from that point, at least? Or we should get there before?
Yeah. And thank you for saying that. I think we should get there before.
Right.
But if you look at the engagements we've been doing, right, one of the things we haven't been able to publish yet is the fees and charges for the licensing and accreditation. The authority is working with Parliament. It's a process that's undergoing to be able to finally release the fees and charges. So the provisional period is where we're in now, up until the end of September. So people who are registering and getting accredited and being issued license, especially the companies, because the fees are not there yet, it will be hard for us or for our legals to come in and say, hey, you're not in compliance, so we're holding you. But again, we're not making that decision here.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's just the right thing and the best thing to get ready.
Right.
You don't have to wait.
Right.
Our normal attitude.
Yeah.
We are always caught by time, and then we're pleading, can we have an extension?
Right.
So what would you say to those who need to comply now?
You need to comply now because it is, an obligation in the law. And I would want to encourage everybody to take opportunity of this grace period and apply for the license and the accreditation. Otherwise, come 1st, October, we're going to impose administrative penalties. Also, we're going to put on our website the persons who have been licensed and accredited, and a caution will go to the general public to refrain from people who are unaccredited or unlicensed, because you can't trust their operations.
It's actually unwise for anybody to want to deal with any person or entity within such a sensitive, industry,
Right.
and they are not accredited.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that's sort of the caution to you, and I think all of us should be aware of this. It's clearly not in your interest to do such a thing. Therefore, from the 1st of October, we are going to see the register app. Is that going to happen?
That's going to happen. I think it's important. Let me bring another angle to this, right? Ghana, in 2017, entered into a ranking and assessment system by the International Telecommunications Union, where it measures or assesses a country's readiness for cybersecurity. At the time, Ghana was ranked 43rd Ghana was ranked 10th in Africa and 87th in the world by a score of 32.6%, something like that. 3 years onwards, Ghana moved from 10th in Africa to 3rd behind Mauritius and Tanzania, and then 87 to 43 in the world with a score of 86.9%, something like that. So you could see the progress Ghana is making, because we're in a digitalized economy, right? But the baby steps that authority has been taking is drawing international attention, because this cybersecurity thing we're talking about is a global commodity.
That's right.
Right? So There are huge benefits to these accredited professionals,
Yes.
these licensed companies.
That's where I was going to go to now.
Right.
So let us know,
Okay.
even though those who are in the field ought to be familiar with this.
Right.
What are the benefits? What do I lose? First of all, I know what you lose, but what do I lose? What are the benefits?
Hey, Madam Jennifer, you can start with this on
Well,
the benefits. Yeah.
The benefits that comes with the licensing and accreditation regime, I believe every cybersecurity service provider would wish to have, their business progress. And so once we put up that national register, it gives visibility
Right.
to cybersecurity service providers, cybersecurity professionals, cybersecurity establishments. When people want to procure services of cybersecurity service providers, they get on the website of the Cybersecurity Authority. They see who is licensed, and that will actually, open, business opportunities, job opportunities for the cybersecurity professionals.
Right.
Once we have the national register up. Also, the Cybersecurity Authority plans to, engage what we call the independent assessors. Once you are an accredited cybersecurity professional, the Cybersecurity Authority shall engage, such professionals in supporting the work of the Cybersecurity Authority. So, for example, if we have to conduct some monitoring and compliance exercise, we can reach out into a pool of accredited cybersecurity professionals and engage them to provide, that support. And that goes to, build the cybersecurity workforce and help progress the profession of cybersecurity professionals.
Yeah. And if I may buttress that point, talking about the workforce, lawyers and doctors, and Mr. Sampson, you cannot be paid below a certain rate, right?
Correct.
Because the industry is not regulated, people do odd jobs here and there,
Right.
and sometimes they're underpaid. But if these regulations are rolled out and we've accredited professionals, they're going to be respected in that form. They'll be paid well. I think that's very important, because one of the silent issue that's going on that nobody's seeing now, you hear of nurses go out of the country, but our cybersecurity professionals who are even helping themselves develop themselves, they are being encroached and pushed away in the Western world. So if there's a certain balance of fees and charges as to how much a professional should be paid, it might help stem the tide to be able to retain some professionals in the country who can provide these protective services to our critical information infrastructure and things alike.
Thank you very much. And as we do always, it's now time for us to open the phone line so that you can join us, particularly you, the professionals, practitioners. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be a professional practitioner. If you need the cybersecurity authority officials to answer or respond, react to anything that is on your mind, or explain anything that you want explanation to, please call us now. The phone lines are activated now, and this is the law. It's your legal lights. It is your health law, and we're engaging the officers of the Cybersecurity Authority of Ghana, Jennifer Mensah, who is lead legal and compliance, and Benjamin Ofori as well. So you can join us now and share your views with us. There's the release that you issued earlier, and I want to see if I can share it with the public, and they can also, this was in March 1, 2023, in respect of this matter, and it was titled, Cybersecurity Authority begins the implementation of licensing and accreditation today, March 1, 2023. This is how far it goes, when it started. And then you mentioned the consequences of non-compliance. Said cybersecurity service providers who engage in the business of providing cybersecurity services without the requisite license after September 30, 2023 shall be in contravention of the Cybersecurity Act 2020, Act 1038, and shall be liable to pay administrative penalties. However, a cybersecurity provider, service provider, who applies for a license by September 30 may continue to provide its service until a decision on the application has been made by the Cybersecurity Authority. A license or accreditation granted is valid for 2 years from the date of issuance as provided for in Section 53(1), subsection 1 of the Act. 2 years. What informs that? Why is the regime or the period for the license or accreditation 2 years?
I think the drafters of the law found it plausible to give that time frame because of the nature of the whole work. And maybe I can't delve so much into it.
But you hold on. Let's hear Prince before. Hello, Prince.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Let's hear you.
Good afternoon. My name is Prince Vivian from Obuasi. Yes, my question is, what are the classifications of cybercrime? I mean, I want to know the thing that falls under cybercrime when you talk about cybercrime. And I want the madam to also answer, give me a direct answer on this. Like the phone that I use, I've subscribed to one of the services that we use or the method that we use, and specifically, I'm on one of their bundle service. I've not been using that service for a very long time. It is timeless. I mean, does not spy. But anytime that I check the balance, it is reducing every day. But meanwhile, I'm not even using it at all. So what will I do? Does this also fall under cyber security? I want to know. Thank you.
You're talking about a telco, is it?
Yes, please.
Okay, so it's a telco. You have bought bundle. You are not doing any activity, and yet you can see that your bundle is reducing. Is that it? Okay, thank you, Prince. My next caller is hello, Mensa. Let's hear you. You're calling from Alajo.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, good afternoon. My contribution goes to, I want to find out from the Cybersecurity Authority, the lady and the gentleman, that one of the challenges that we'll be facing is that during registration, when you encounter problem, the numbers that they provide, when you try to contact them, it's very difficult to get in touch with them. And then secondly, so how are they going to address that? And then secondly, you see, they said if to complete the registration, the company that you are working for, they are supposed to give you accreditation or something. And the company does not see the importance of you because they feel that you working with them, it is your problem, it's not their problem. So how are they going to help individuals to be able to complete the registration without getting in touch with the company?
Mensa, hold on for me. You say that the contacts that they give for you to report,
yes.
When you call, it doesn't go through. Is that it?
Yeah, it doesn't go through.
Which of these numbers do you have?
I don't have them off head.
You can call. You can call or text 292. Are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not familiar with that
Great.
one. But normally they give you
292. You can call or text 292. You can WhatsApp 050 16 03 111. 050 16 03 111. They are reliable contacts. So I have answered your second question for them. Who is next on the line? Okay, so let's try and take some answers before. Okay, so Prince says he wants to know about the classifications of cybercrime. For whatever purpose, I don't know. But he says again that he's bundled and the bundle reduces even though he's not using it. What should he do? I can see NCA matters here.
All right. So
Yeah.
with the classification of cybercrime, there are basically two types of cybercrime. We have cyber-enabled crime and cyber-dependent crime.
Cyber-enabled,
And
cyber-dependent. Okay.
So cyber-dependent crimes are really like new crimes that have been introduced as a result of computer systems, coming into the world. For example, unauthorized access, what is called hacking,
Right.
Unauthorized interception, system interference, in the sense that there may be a malicious person who will hack into a system and cause it to malfunction, and legitimate users can't have access to it. That is what is called the cyber dependent crimes. And there's cyber-enabled crimes, which are crimes which scale, scope, and speed have increased as a result of the internet. So you can have things like cyberbullying,
Right.
or you can have things like child sexual exploitation and abuse material. Because of the internet, there's a widespread, if you are bullying people on the internet, you are sharing materials that you shouldn't share, billions and billions of people see it. And so the computer has, increased the scale and the scope of those crimes, like cyber fraud. And so those are the two classifications when you're looking at it from the legal point of view: cyber-enabled, cyber-dependent.
Right.
All right. Let's hold on a bit.
Sure.
Godwin,
Okay.
you're calling us from Medina. Let's hear you, Godwin.
All right. So,
Godwin, go ahead.
all right. So I had the chance to be trained, or let's say I have the, I've been trained under Dr. Albert as the boss of.
Dr. Nchubu Esiako.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So that was back in 2018. I had that's a cybersecurity certification, and I also had network security defense from an institution. So the question is, should I still consider myself a cybersecurity professional? Because I have done some training for some rural banks and also community. And right now on the cybersecurity page, the authority page, the place where you have to show the professional certificate. I want to know if I can still consider myself based on this achievement, or I have to still write maybe an international certification like the one I'm about to write right now, and that's stock analyst. So I want to know if I can still be considered a professional. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Hello, Godwin. Okay. So I got Godwin's question, but I wanted to be sure if he meant, in addition, that he is liable to registering or not.
Right.
But I'm sure you understood him clearly.
Yeah.
But before we go to Godwin, you have talked about the classifications, enabled and dependent.
Right.
And then Prince had an issue also with his bundle. Yeah, who should he report to? Where should he report to? Can he report to you?
I think that's a telco issue. But the interesting thing is that because of that reliability of that 292 and those WhatsApp numbers you mentioned, we get all kinds of reports and issues which are sometimes not even cybersecurity. So it's amazing. I think the record of that is about 40,000 for some period of time now. Sometimes it's funny how security experts provide psychological services. Because yes, I think it's a telco issue, but if he's in doubt, he can still call us.
All right. Thank you. And Mensa, I think Mensa's major issue was the reporting, the difficulty getting through with the numbers, and I gave him those two numbers. He's happy to have them.
Yeah.
Yes, you want to add, but hold on. Who is on the line? Hussein, quickly, let's hear you, Hussein.
Good afternoon, Samson.
Good afternoon.
Please, I have a question. What are the requirements on a professional, or what documents will they require to be presented for the attestation or the credentials?
Okay. Thank you very much. What will be the criteria? Thank you. I think we can hold on with the call so we can take the answers.
Sure.
Right.
Coming in.
Yes, so you were going to add something to the bundle issue, is it? Or which one was that?
The contact.
Reporting, yes,
Yeah,
contacts.
So
Yeah.
he can also send an email to compliance at csa.gov.gh.
Compliance
at
csa.gov.gh. Okay. He could also do reports at csa.gov.gh.
Right.
That also works.
Yes.
Report at csa.gov.gh. Okay. Thank you very much. That's for you, Mensa. How about Godwin?
Godwin.
He's got a professional certificate after being trained by your authority.
Right.
He's very happy about that.
Yeah.
And he's making a living training others, providing service. But
Yeah, he should consider himself a professional. You know, even students or just graduates just coming out of university, they have a place in this.
Yes.
The classification of a tier system was introduced here to be able to take care of professionals in various categories. So even if you're just coming out of the university or you're just trained to know certain things about cybersecurity, there's a place for you. I think that place is a general requirement.
Yes.
But if he's a trainer, there's also a place for trainers. So yes, he should start the registration process.
so there are those who are watching us now and are asking, oh, Godwin got a professional certificate by being trained by your authority. I didn't know that your authority trains people who can make jobs.
Yes.
So how...
let me correct that.
Yes.
I think he said the training was done by eCrime. eCrime is not Cybersecurity Authority.
Okay.
We don't do training for individuals. We do capacity building awareness creation for organizations, the government space, but not individuals like that. So I think that one is eCrime.
Okay.
That's not us.
Because he mentioned your boss that he
Yeah.
had been trained by him.
So it could be in his lifetime past. You know,
All right.
he used to manage his own
All
private
right.
company.
Because he said that was in
doing training.
20-something, not actually in after the 2020s.
Yeah, so
Right.
it's way
Okay.
back, yes.
Okay,
yes.
okay. Thank
Before the
you.
authority was born. I'm
You're
sure.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Then Hussein, what does he need to present
Right,
for this accreditation or licensing?
right. Maybe, Madam, you can elaborate a little bit on the requirements.
Yes, with the requirements, Hussein could, submit evidence of his qualifications and experience, his number of experience, as number of years of experience as providing the cybersecurity professional functions, recommendation from his current or previous employer. There's also the need to submit police reports, from the Ghana Police Service. If Hussein happens to be a freelancer and he has, chalked quite a number of years in providing cybersecurity professional functions, there may be the need for, he's providing freelance services, there may be the need for him to, show evidence of cyber insurance and coverage, among others. But I want to encourage Hussein to visit the website of the Cybersecurity Authority and register to obtain a copy of the guidelines for accrediting cybersecurity professionals so that he can familiarize himself with all the requirements.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Now, as we wrap up, what will be your final words to our audience?
Yeah, maybe you first.
My final words to our audience is that to our cyber security professional service providers and establishments, visit the website of the authority and apply, register and apply before the 1st of October. It's important that we all promote the development of cyber security in this country to sustain Ghana's digital transformation. And this is good. Many cybersecurity professionals and service providers have embraced it. And so if you are sitting home and you have not, please go on the website of the authority, register and apply so that you can be in compliance with the law.
Thank you, Jennifer. Benjamin?
Thank you. When I saw your title about cracking the whip, it got me scared a little bit.
It's important.
Right, it is important.
We'll wait to the late,
Yeah.
you wait, you see
Yeah.
that from the first,
Yeah.
the people who will be knocking on your doors and begging,
Right.
even after we provide them this platform to help.
Yeah, yeah. But I understand the CSA also has a listening ear. There's a phrase we throw about the authority called the collaborative regulation. So our intention is to build the industry.
Right.
You know, before we really crack the whip. Because if you don't have a mature environment, where do you start cracking the whip? So they should be comfortable. They should reach us for us to be able to work with them effectively.
Thank you very much. This has been The Law. It's your legal light. It's your health law. And my guests have been Jennifer Mensah, who is lead legal and compliance, and Benjamin Ofori, all of the Cybersecurity Authority of Ghana. Have a good afternoon.